Good. Mike in Virginia. You're talking to Eric and Jamie. How are you doing?
Yeah, fantastic. And I'm glad I got on the Rickroll episode, too.
Yeah. Well, so that said, it's funny once. It's way less funny the second time.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you want to talk about?
Okay, so I grew up in a fundamentalist, Assemblies of God church.
I'm sorry to hear that.
When I was, well, I got out when I was about 16. We moved from Maine to Virginia. And, after I had moved away, I came to, I came out of faith. And I started looking back and realizing that, I spent a lot of time in a church school, and I was, there was just a lot of punishment that was super, disproportional to what was going on. And there was this
hitting the kids, that kind of stuff.
It was more like, making us stand in uncomfortable positions for hours, locking us in rooms by ourselves, that sort of thing. Not a lot of interaction. And, if we would act up, we'd have to clean the church and all.
That's the real punishment.
Not like regular cleaning, but spend 5-6 hours doing it.
Wow.
When you're doing that on top of your schoolwork, it's rough.
You shouldn't do that to children. I'm sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah.
But it says in the notes that you have an update.
Yeah. More or less, after I had moved away, the pastor had gotten into some trouble. Apparently, he had been messing around with some of the female students. And I found out that he has, he managed to avoid any of that sort of trouble, and he is now running a church on the other side of the country. And I feel an obligation to say something about it, but I don't know how to deal with this.
Well, you call in.
Yeah.
So do you follow the Freedom from Religion Foundation, FFRF?
I've heard of them recently.
Call them. They have a newsletter that I've gotten for years that I absolutely adore. And in that newsletter, there's the Black Collar Crime Blotter. And they actually highlight and bring up the heinous abuses that happen every single week all over the place.
And they bring it up because you won't read about it anywhere else. Newspaper editors have to make decisions about what they put out, and they know, I'm a mainstream newspaper. If I start putting out anything bad about the local church or the church next door, people aren't going to buy my paper. And that's a pressure that means that people don't see that. And we shine a light on that because people need to know.
Now, there are, you would expect, just like your example, a lot of cases of pastors going and, sexually assaulting people and children. And that's horrendous. And there are other things, though, that we don't really think about, that are gimmies for Christians that we really should be looking at. There are so many cases of embezzling and fraud because people turn the other way when it comes to keeping the books for a church. And so you see a ton of that. And it's wild. Call the Freedom from Religion Foundation. That is a great resource to go to. Let people know. Find out. And when you do that, when you share that, it makes it a little harder for fuckers like that to keep going.
Yeah.
And that's how we do it.
And actually,
we start there.
Sorry for cutting into your thing.
No, go ahead.
And then actually, there may be a reason that I'm not thinking of at the moment, but if you know where the new church is and what it's called, I'm not sure there's a reason not to say it right now on the show, unless you didn't want to be identified with the pastor or whatever. But spread the word, because it's possible someone is watching right now from that church's hometown.
Was this pastor actually charged with anything?
Oh, yeah, we don't want to slap
I don't necessarily know. It's really difficult to get information because it's a very small town, and he was the chaplain at the police department.
Got it. Yeah, let's not give details because we could be legally liable.
Of course, yeah. That's more or less. That's one of the thoughts. That's one of the concerns I had about this entire thing to begin with.
Yeah,
absolutely. It could be in your town.
It's true.
That's what we're saying. It could be in your town.
I was gonna say, I'll take those legal risks on my channel. Reach out to me, Mike. Maybe. We'll see.
And that was the end of Jamie's channel.
Yeah,
Mike.
It had a super long run of
Mike,
24 hours.
I know that we weren't diving deep into epistemic issues or anything like that, but I saw this in the notes on the lines, and it's like, holy shit, we do need to draw attention to it. And I'm glad that you called in. I'm glad that you're standing up and saying something. Please call FFRF. Will you do that?
Yes, I absolutely will. I really appreciate what you guys do here. And
cheers, man.
And thank
you. Jamie, condolences on your cat. I'm a dog person myself, but that sucks.
You lose
I promise
your fur,
not
baby,
to. I promise not to hold it against you. But
take care, dude.
Thank you. Yeah. And then also, real quick before you go,
you've got to.
You should.
I'm sorry.
You're so efficient with your going through because we got to talk to people. But if you need support, I was going to say recovering from religion as well.